The group continued interrogating Zelene about everything that has gone on at the Mountains Toe gold mine. She claims that Zash can only be cured of his lycanthropy by utilizing a concoction made of Jacqueline's blood. She claims that her gang was run out of their temple further up north when a group of orcs raided them. She claims that her gang tried to find shelter with the dwarves, and the dwarves attacked them without even talking to them. And in the process, they killed a number of them and or turned a few of them. She claims that the only place where they would be able to get the blood of Jacqueline would be at the temple. She claims that she has a chest of equipment at the temple with vials of blood that belong to those who she has turned. Zelene then offered the party a deal where they go to the temple and retrieve her equipment, and she will make a potion to remove Zash's curse. Deliberating on this, the group decided that they would instead head back to Phandalin to talk with Harbin about the mine and give Zash time to go and talk to the Sonlenors about removing the curse. Leaving the mine, Don John stayed behind to ensure the dead were-rats were fully burnt and the fire was put out. He explains that he will be around the area for a while, getting the mine up and running. They decided to stop off at the shrine to see if Zelene would react to it, but to no avail. The group then arrived in Phandalin, and everyone did a little something different. Zash, Iggy, and Smith headed off to talk to Harbin. Zash told Harbin about the were-rats, and Harbin paid him an extra 50 gold to account for the cost to have the Sonlenors help him. They also made a deal where the group now gets 17.5% of Phandalin's cut of the mine's income. And I'm going to put this in the treasure tab. That is going to equate to 105 gold a week. So every 10 days, you guys will get there will be a deposit box at Harbin Westers where 105 gold will be deposited every week so long as the mine continues running. I put that little caveat in there because who knows? Maybe things will happen at the mine and you have to go and defend it. After this, Zash headed down to the Temple of Moradin while Iggy and Smith talked about Smith teaching Iggy some new spells. Albina went over to inspect the Shrine of Luck. Cephas and Nylor took Zelene into the Stonehill Inn. Iluna spent some time studying her pendant to try and figure out why she wasn't able to utilize it again at the shrine. Eventually, she went into the inn and sat with Cephas, letting him and Spunky get to know one another. Both being construct, they thought each other was pretty cool. When Zash arrived at the temple, he talked with Greymane and Thusov about his current condition. Zash told Thusov about the situation at the Mountains Toe gold mine. Greymane seemed very worried, but Thusov is sure that he can help him be rid of the curse. Thusov then told Zash about a man who could be found up near Longsaddle named Lucius Harbold, who might be able to give him information about lycanthropy if he needs to go that route. And then after a while, everyone else headed to bed. Iluna and Anime ventured out the surrounding wood to Trance of the Moonlight, and there was sort of this big grand event retconning the feat that she had because Stibbles made it pointless. So she now has a new feat that allows her to sort of mind link with Iluna, as well as granting her and Anime a little bit more variety when it comes to tie-ins with her Eladrin racial traits. And so that is where we're going to pick up for today. We're actually going to start off down at the Dwarven excavation. It is the next morning.
Oh, real quick, I don't think I ever said it last time, but since Tony wasn't here and we were kind of like piloting his character together, I kind of had Nylor sticking with Zelene, like bodyguarding her, making sure like she's not trying to do any stupid shit.
100%. I have the same idea.
Tony knows, you know, everybody else knows. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Cool. So yeah, it is the next morning. Zash, you are sort of this. So while you're down here at the new Temple of Moradin, The sounds of the forges really never stop throughout the night. There's multiple shifts, there's multiple workers manning the forges, trying to turn metal into practical use. There's constantly some commotion going on, some movement, but you are able to catch some rest out at the little village that has sprouted up around it. As you can see, they are starting to slowly rebuild some of the buildings that are around here. And as you wake up, Thusov and Greymane are outside waiting, and Thusov has just finished up his prayers for the morning.
Good morning, Thusok.
Good morning! How did you sleep?
You know, a little hungover, but we'll survive.
Dwarven ale will always do that to you if you... But, I can see you handled yourself very well.
Well, you know, I was raised with the Innsmith, so there was no passing there.
That is right, that is right. How, have you talked to them recently? How are they?
I'm not sure, you know, I was given a troubling vision about them. And that's why I'm trying to deal with this whole lycanthropy thing as quickly as I can so that I can go check on my family.
Oh, troubling vision. What, pray tell, if you don't mind me asking?
Well, when we were on our way to the gold mine, we found a moon shrine, and when I touched it, I got a vision of a family member lying on the ground, and my sister calling out to me. So, not sure if it's a vision of the future, present, past, but I want to deal with my ailments so that, you know, I can go deal with that, and, you know, I don't want to go there with this and cause more problems, and...
I understand. We will attend to this quickly, so that you
Yes.
can go and attend to your family. Family is definitely something that is very important to us. And he sort of like looks around at all. And with that, he takes you into the forge. Back so on the map, back here where the shrine of Abathor was, there is now a massive furnace that has been installed, and it is just roiling with flame and with heat. And when you walk in, you sort of feel it, you know, hitting your face, and you can see that there is actually two more of the clerics surrounding you, and you recognize both of them as Feargag and Dwarfam, the other two that were up at Phandalin the day that the Sonlenors arrived. And they have forged this slab that is in the shape of an anvil, and he says, "Please, rest yourself onto the shrine."
As we walk up... Oh, wow.
Oh.
Sorry, that kind of threw me off. As I walk up to it, I'll just say, it's so nice to see this place full of life and not gelatinous slimes that want to digest you.
Oh, yes. When we arrived down here, Dazzlin and Norbus told us about what you had gone on, and yes, there was in the one crevice of the one far nook room that we began to blow out some of the walls. There was one more, but it did not stand the might of Moradin's hammer.
Thank God. Thank Moradin.
Yes, Moradin's forge will burn more in these mountains. And with that, he gestures for you to lay down.
I do.
All right. So with that, the three dwarfs that are standing around you, there are anvils right in front of them, and they each begin pounding their hammers onto the anvils, just these this cacophonous ring surrounding you, that's sort of like inundating you with this magical energy. And this goes on for a few minutes, and they are chanting, they're calling out to the name of Morden. You can see the fire is like somehow the fire in front of you from the forge is getting brighter and brighter. And then as they begin to slow down, Thusoff looks down at you and says, "Do you feel any different?"
Do I feel any different, DM?
So you don't like. You felt radiant energy. You felt magical energy, coursing across you. But you feel alive. I will say that. Give me 1 second. I actually don't know if it's. Yeah. I think this is the case. Yeah. So the one cleric walks over, Feargag, and you see he places his hammer right next to your head, and it sort of vibrates across the table. And as you do, or as this does, you see his eyes light up with magical energy, and he looks down and soft and whispers something to him. And with your
What's up?
with your understanding of the Dwarvish language and your cat-like perceptive skills,
So you got second?
you hear Feargag whisper. He says,
"I got fourth.
That's not bad.
And first place, I was at 15 HP.
I'll just look at him and I'll say.
I was on a 5 winning.
There's no need to whisper. It's okay. What matters is that you guys tried, and I appreciate that.
Actually, 2 because I had one. I needed Yon.
This curse is my fault and my fault alone. So I'll have to do what I need to do to remedy it.
The guy with the protectors. I don't know his name.
Thusoff looking, rather defeated. Like since
Azir?
you met this dwarf, Thusoff, he has always seemed very upbeat, very bright, lively. And right now, you're definitely not seeing him in that light. He seems a little disappointed, a little disheartened. But
I played
mostly
2 games
angry.
yesterday. I got 8th one game and
And,
2nd the next.
Says,
Before I went to bed.
"The power of Morden stands no foe.
I'm probably going to get a shower then.
But whatever this witch has cursed upon
Okay.
you, fortunately, the power of Morden is strong enough, and even in his halls, what magic she instills in you."
I just have to find another way.
And he sort of takes a breath and says, "Walk with faith. While we were not, it was not Morden. Morden has not failed today. Morden," and he like points to the forge, which you can see is burning, very bright. "Morden's forge still burns in these halls. We are simply the 3 of us. We must spend more time forging, getting stronger, facing this challenge together with you."
I'll put a hand on his shoulder and I'll look at him and I'll say, this is not a case of you not being strong enough or Moradin not being strong enough to cure this. I see this as Moradin saying there's another way, another path that I must travel. to cure this affliction. One that I'm going to grow from. I know Moradin. He builds. And I think he's going to take this as an opportunity to build me into something greater.
And he, you can see that he, you know, like sort of in like a reverse role, from when Vanadar, was feeling disheartened, and Feargag talked to him, explaining about, you know, the same thing. You know, he sort of nods and looks at you, and he looking around, and in a sort of symbolic moment, the two of you both look back at this dwarf that is forging this sword. And as he strikes it, you can see that it splits. And he's cursing under his tongue, and takes out another piece of metal, sticks it into his forge, places it on top, and begins forging that into it. And Thusov puts his hand on your shoulder and says, yes. You have stumbled across a moment in your life where you need to build yourself up into a better being. The power of Moradin will be with you, young Tabaxi. He sort of looks around, and Greymane is standing at the entrance into the temple. And he says, we will be here for you whenever you return without this accursed disease. We will be here to celebrate with mugs of ales and shouts of celebration.
I'll kind of slap him on the shoulder and I'll say, and I am all the more grateful that I have you and Morden at my back supporting me. Thank you, friend.
Walk with faith, my friend. And with that, he's going to slap you on the arm, and for the next 24 hours, you will have, or actually, I'm going to say this, for the next, where the hell is it? Shit. I had this book up, and now my PDF's closed. Damn it. Man, this is, killing this mood. Here it is. So, for the next 24 hours, he's basically given you a little bit of the flavor of Moradin's boon. So, for the next 24 hours, you can cast the spell Magic Weapon on your claws.
Oh, shit. Okay.
So,
is that as, like, an action?
Yeah, I mean, it would be almost as if you have that spell, you know, to your availability, which is that for an hour, your claws will become magic weapons with a +1 bonus to attack and damage. So
Okay.
basically, for the next 24 hours, or it's a bonus action, I'm sorry. So for the next 24 hours, you can cast Magic Weapon.
Okay.
So, all right. So do
Is
you,
that, like,
do you,
is there any way I can, like, add that to my character sheet?
unfortunately not. As a monk, you don't have
Okay,
access
so I'll just
to those.
have to try to remember it. Okay.
Yeah. I would say if you want, on your, go, click where it has the unarmed strike that you go to click whenever you do your attacks. Go to customize, and then to hit bonus and damage bonus, just put a 1 in each one of those.
Okay.
And then that will adjust for that, and then, you know, after 24 hours, that'll go away. So with that, do you know what do you do?
I fuck everything up. Okay. I set it to 0. I set the wrong one to 0.
Oh.
Let me think. Okay. I'm gonna turn around and I'm gonna walk out to Greymane.
I saw that it did not work.
No. feel like I'm being tested by some greater power right now. I'm constantly being torn between trying to fix my mistakes and trying to fix the mistakes of my family, it seems.
It is a responsibility that we all must bear at one time. When you first met me, I would too was facing the reality of trying to fix mistakes. But you have support. You have allies on your side, and I know that you will find the way to fix this. Just as you found the way to help me. And he sort of like gestures back to all the tabaxi that are sort of going around this area working. Says, and all of us. We all have you and your friends to thank. Without you, they may not have found this opportunity, and I surely would have perished. Here in this... At one time, this forsaken temple. Now a place of wonder and worship.
It's hard to have that clarity right now for me. But I will try to reflect and remember the good and look for the good in the future.
That's it. Must learn from the past to create a better future.
Something like that, yeah.
I'm not the best with things. But
Don't worry, neither am I. Just kind of winging it here.
feels like that every day. But you should be returning to your friends.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I should.
Tell them I said hello. Tell them everything that's going on down here, and if you...
You cut out.
Oh, sorry. He said, if you see Vanadar, tell him I said hello.
Yes, I definitely have plans to go visit him in Axholm when I can. See how he's doing. I will definitely pass on the message, though, when I do see him. And I'll be sure to tell Iluna about all the good things you guys are doing up here.
Ah, yes. The elf. She still have that rainbow bird that flew out of the sky.
She does. And a few friends. A few new friends.
Excellent. Excellent. You're growing day by day.
We try, always. Alright, old friend. I think I need to get back and try to figure this all out.
I wish you the best. Come back and visit whenever you can.
Next time I'll bring everybody else.
I would like that. I'd like to see them once again.
Alright. And I'll start walking away. And I'll wave goodbye to them one last time. And then anime style. Boots of speed. And I'm out. Naruto run.
Right. So, the next morning, sorry. This same morning, everyone begins to rouse back in Phandalin, and there's a bit of a commotion going on outside in the early morning. You can hear that there are people talking outdoors. Now, Luna, I know that you had spent the night outside.
We would be. I think we were heading back with the spider taking the lead with the rat on its back. Because they're out of their order now, and nobody knows that yet.
Yep. So, would the rest of you, Albina, Sefton, Smith, and Nylor, would the rest of you have gone outside to see what the commotion was?
Sure.
I-
Head out with
I feel like I would still be with Celine?
Celine?
Is it Celine? Yeah.
Yeah, Zeline. Yeah, you can. Yeah, she can go out with you. I imagine in the morning you hear a little bit of commotion going on outside, and you know when Zeline wakes up, she goes, "The nine hells is going on out there. They see people that are trying to sleep."
Okay, like out of character because like I missed last session.
Yeah.
So the fact that we already know that she, would we know as characters that she would get her like transformation back, since we long rested?
So you guys, I know Albina. I think Albina mentioned it to everyone that the next day she would. So yeah, you could probably. I mean, you might be a little bit more on your toes if she tries something.
I don't think that I would even leave. We're in the inn. Is that where we're at?
Yeah.
I wouldn't go downstairs. Because like she could very easily escape into the streets. I would just stay in the room with her. Figure everyone else can deal with the commotion. If they need me, they'll come get me, and then we can figure out what to do with her together. But I'll stay in the room and be her bodyguard.
I'll wait at the door.
Is Eileen like
as well.
already there?
Eileen would be outside, so you would already be outside.
I'm gonna wait with Nylar because I have just prayed and I now have removed curse.
Okay.
Iluna would definitely see what the commotion is going on. I mean, she has
Smith?
her there with everyone, but she'll take the distraction for a bit.
Smith, what are you and Iggy doing right now?
Can I cast Identify as a ritual?
Oh yeah, you absolutely can. What are you casting it on?
The goggles.
Okay, cool. So while you're being cast that, Iggy's like, oh, what are you doing there?
I'm using the spell Identify to figure out what these goggles do. Why don't you go check on the group and see if they need me, or let me know if they need me.
Yeah, will do. And he skitters out of the room. Seftis, what are you doing?
Yeah, I'm gonna head out and see what all the commotion's about.
All right. Yeah. So as you're walking out, you're heading out of the inn. Iggy sort of runs down and comes up next to you and goes, "Hey, big guy, what's going on out there?"
I don't know what is going on out there.
So I will address. So sort of got 3 plot points going on right now, but I will address the one that will be quickest. Smith, over the course of you begin to cast Identify as a ritual, and this is the thing that was just going to make me laugh my ass off. As you cast Identify on these goggles, they are revealed to be goggles of object reading, which allows you to cast Identify with them.
Oh my goodness.
Oh.
So you
It's
now
like one long dad joke.
That's it. I was like, oh, here's a scroll of Identify. What's that? Some goggles? Guess what? You want some Identify with that Identify? So what these are, goggles of object reading. With goggles, you have advantage on Arcana checks to reveal information about a creature or object that you can see. That's why I said more than likely they would probably want you to keep these goggles because you have a +7 to your Arcana. The other thing is that you can cast Identify once a day. So it is not like absolutely you would want to have Identify prepared, so you can cast it whenever. But these allow you to just cast it as an action once a day. And that is called the Goggles of Object Reading, which should be a thing that you can add to your inventory. Yes.
So do I need to attune to those?
Let me see. Object reading. The that. Yes, yes, you do.
Now, can you only attune to 3 magic items at a time? Is
You
that how that works?
can. So unless you are an artificer and only 2, 3. Well, so not all magic items require attunement. So you can attune to these 3 because you only have 3 that require attunement right now. And if you pick up another item later on that requires attunement, you can unattune to one of them. And
Okay, that's what I was wondering. Okay.
yeah. So while that is going on, Albina and Nylor. Albina, what spells were you looking to start slinging here?
I was just waiting for Zash to come back. I'm
Okay.
eager to let you know. I prayed and I asked Tempest to help me with his predicament, and I also with our leveling up, right? I was able to gain the remove curse.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So then if that is the case, I will address what goes on in there after I address the commotion that's going on outside. I don't know where this image went. Here it is. This.
If Iluna sees Septis coming out, she'd walk up to him.
Okay. Yeah.
Is
So
it just still coming back, or I missed the detail.
No. I'm gonna get to that in just a second. Since like you and Septis are heading out of there. The two of you.
Well, no, I was just wondering if Zach is super fast feet has made it up here or not.
Not yet. He is going up in a few moments. Why is it not pulling this? Oh, there it is. Septis, as you are walking out of the Stonehill Inn, something bumps into your foot. And as you look down, you see the tiny clockwork spider that you were playing with the day before. And it has the rat that you saw Iluna working with once before, and he sort of deposits the rat off of his back, shoots a little bit of webbing around him, and then climbs up onto your shoulder and sort of gives you like a few taps on your shoulder, just that metal on metal, tink 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 tink.
Septis looks around and pleased, and I guess he just reaches over and tries to pet him on his little back.
Oh yeah, absolutely lets you. And at this point, Iluna, you are tailing behind them, coming up, and you see Spunky sitting on Septis's shoulder, and on the ground right at Septis's feet in a little sort of wire web. You see Piper like kicking about wildly, squeaking as rats do.
Good morning, Septis. And I scoop up the rat.
Good morning. Thank you for removing that away from me.
Spunky just shakes my head. What have you done? I see you two are becoming closer friends.
Indeed, I think you will be my new travel companion. We seem to have a pretty good little bond.
Yeah.
And actually, Septis, at this point, I was gonna say, at this point, you realize that,
Oh,
okay, good.
Let's take it away, shall we?
No, good, yeah.
Something otherworldly happened, and they're no longer in their orbs, and I think I can speak with anime in my head.
That
She's not
sounds-
gonna show her scar tattoo. I'll just leave that private.
That sounds interesting. So, is Spunky got freedom of will to do what he chooses, to travel
Yeah.
with me or travel with you, or?
He so far chose to head towards you, and Semi took care of Piper here.
Just
He
this
scuttled
little
pretty
rat,
quickly.
like angrily squeaking at Spunky.
I want to say anime's kind of like nearby, oddly, I don't know, affectionate. That just like a cat does to your legs,
Sure.
but like not as inclined.
Okay.
I don't know what I was saying, but yeah, anime and I seem bonded in some special way. The orbs are gone. All the orbs are gone.
All the
Right,
orbs are
animes is gone too.
Animes is still there. Animes is still there, but the spiders and the rats are.
Okay. So animes with me, and they've got some free will. I said I would help take care of Piper as long as it wants to stay with us, and the spider seems keen to be with you. You can.
So at this
Do I-
point, at this point, Stacy, do you want Piper
Yes.
as one of your companions?
Um.
This is going to be the opportunity to decide.
Oh. But I don't want it. I want it to be able to feel to stay with us or not. I don't know.
Well-
As a player, I want to choose other things.
I mean, this is, and that's the thing. Like, you can see that Piper, like, you can basically, I'm giving you freedom of choice. Do you want Piper to stick around? Because otherwise, she can vamoose, basically flipping off Spunky and then skedaddling. Or you can be like, hey, stick around. It's entirely up to you. If you want, I'm just saying, like, if you want other companions later down the line, you just might have Piper then, but right now she would be one of your other companions. She would be, part of that new dichotomy.
I can have 3 still.
Yes, you
when
would still
were
be
trying
limited to right. You would still be limited to 3. So Piper would be a companion whose bond
Oh.
maximum could be 15. In that same capacity, I would just find a stat block that would better represent her in Stibbles.
Just I wanted to ask when you were mentioning all the stibble changes. I will always be limited to 3. Updating my wisdom wouldn't give me
Updating your
up to
wisdom
6,
does
like,
not.
What?
No, updating your wisdom does not. But there is a feat that is available in Stibbles that I believe is called Horde Master. Trying to find it real quick. I have the thing up. Lord of the Herd. Your wisdom score increases by 1. You can have up to 4 companions, and your bond strength with each of them is now limited to 14. So you could have 4, and the highest that they could all be would be 14, not 15, 12, nothing. So you could take that at when you get level 8. If you want to take that as to get another one, that would be up to you.
If it's not till level 8, so
Right, it's gonna be a
stick
while.
with that. Is anime allowed to be higher though? Or you're keeping that at 50?
Anime is going to be a part of this. I'll discuss that, once we get to that point. She's basically, her bond level is going to be the highest available for you. That's
Okay.
pretty much going to be the gimmick. Your other ones, though, you will have to train. You'll have to feed them. You have to spend time with them. Make sure that you're keeping them happy. You know, if they go 3 days without food, they're going to be pissed at you. So this goes for everyone. Read the book. There's
like
mechanics on losing bond, and they will fucking run away from you.
It's an old school Tamagotchi.
Basically, there's
his little mechanical spider.
yes. This is going to come into play. This is going to come into play with the person that is causing the commotion.
Anyhow, I was about to just. I guess I'll keep Piper for now because I don't know what the commotion's about.
No, that's absolutely fine. If you want to
keep it safe. So.
Sure. If you want to throw her out in the garbage later, that's entirely up to you.
Oh,
I'll take her.
Maybe.
Yeah. So, the commotion that is going on, ahead of you in the town square, you can see that there is a man out there that has drawn a little bit of a crowd, and he looks like this. If it decides to show up, here we go. And he has this little cart set up, a little canopy, and hopping around it, you can see a number of small little critters. There is one, just to be straightforward, looks like a Bulbasaur. I'm not going to sit here and try and describe it. Just looks like a Bulbasaur. Looks like a frog with a flower on its back. There is another one that looks like a, it sort of looks like a rabbit, but it has a bird's beak and like these fluffy wings. And where the hell? Oh, I can't find these things fast enough. Oh yeah, there's two more. Crap. I had these written down and I can't find the page, and I think it was on a Google Note. Shit. Bulbasaur. This is called. And shit, what the hell did I just say? Oh, the Crabbit. Yeah.
Here. There we are.
Oh yeah, basically. Yeah, basically. And the other ones. Oh, this thing is so slow.
A rabbit with a beak.
Yeah, there's a rabbit with a beak. If this PDF would just load a hair faster, I can get back to it. God. Sorry. This thing is... I gotta do straight up searches. God. Is it legitimately faster on my phone? It'd be so painful.
For me.
There we go. Oh, okay. Here we go. Yes. So, there is one that looks like this. It almost looks like a rabbit with... It almost looks like a flying jackalope, in a way. There is one that looks like this, if it ever decides to load. This is what the rabbit with a beak looks like. And I will post pictures of these later. You do not have to do that. There's this one, the one that straight up looks like a Bulbasaur.
Bulbasaur frog. Wow. Cool.
And that thing is not called... Actually, no. It's called a bloom crawler. And That is actually the things that you see sort of around this table, and then Iluna and Cephas, as the two of you are sort of drawn your attention this direction, you actually notice something else on the little sort of stand that he has here that looks like that. At first you thought it was just a book, that maybe there was like a cat sitting behind it, and that's, as you look at it, you realize that the book actually has a tail and eyes. So yes,
That's great.
these four creatures are a bloom crawler, a mimic or a mim cat, a wolpertinger, and a crabbit. And as you sort of walk up to all this, all this commotion going on, you see the man standing there. He says, "Yes, yes, you can have one all to yourself, all to yourself. The wonderful world of companions. That is what we are selling here today. That is what you have the opportunity to partake in today. If you wish, you could have one of your very own crabbits." And he gestures to the little crow rabbit thing. "Bloom crawler." He gestures to the frog. He says, "A wolftinger," to the bunny that's sort of like hopping around following the rabbit. And then he says, "Or even," and he pulls out the book. He says, "What looks like an innocuous book is actually," and it, like, eyes open, these little ears pop up off of its head, a puffy little tail. He says, "A mimic disguised as a book, truly a cat." He says, "Any one of these," he says, "you could train, you could battle one another. They can journey you on your jobs." And he sort of turns back and sees Iluna and Cephas coming out, and sees the clockwork spider on Cephas's shoulder, and says, "Ah, yes." And he says, I see that this," looking at Cephas as, like, the warforged that he is, "this being over here is already indulging in the of companions." And he walks over and he says, "I see that you have already made a bond with such a creature."
Septus just stands there, crosses his eyes, and looks down at the guy and says, "Yes."
"Oh, man, a few words, man, a few words. I understand. Why talk many words when few does job? I get it." He says, "Yes, I will
Is
be
this
in
guy
town."
Kevin? Is this guy Kevin from The Office?
Oh God, yeah. I know that joke because of, but he goes, "Yes, I will be in town for one day, and then we will be moving on to our next adventure, to our next town." He says, "If you have any questions, please feel free to talk to me." Oh. So yeah, you guys have the opportunity to go up and go talk to him if you want.
Yeah, I guess I'll go over to him and I don't know, ask him if he's got any advice on how to take care of little Spunky, I guess.
And he looks up at it and he goes, "Yes, yes. See, they dwarven nature. They see inside." And he sort of gets a good look and he says, "Ah, a lightning core. Quite fascinating in there. But depends." And he sifts through his stuff on his table, pulls out a book, begins flipping through it. He goes, yes. And he goes into this small box that his arm reaches in further than it appears like it should, and he pulls out this small key that has a tiny, like, little constant, like, charge of electricity coming out the end. It's very, very limited. It's, like, safe to the touch. He goes, He goes, yes, yes, yes. Here. He says, I imagine this little guy might tuck her out at some point. And he says, do you mind? And he holds out his hand towards Spunky. Do you let him head over?
I take him off my shoulder and just place him into his hand.
Yeah. So he takes this key, and into the back there, like in his design, there's a hole, and he puts this little key in and turns it, and you can see that this arcane core in the spider's body begins to glow, and you can see that he begins to feel a little bit more spunky and a little bit more peppy. And he goes, yes, clockwork creations created by the dwarf. They while they are excellent companions and wonderful guards, eventually they do run out of juice. So just need to keep him wound up. Once every 3 days or so. I imagine he will be tuckered out if not.
That sounds
And,
good. I appreciate it. Will you do anything for this?
You know what? Well, if he sort of gestures to the other companions. He says, if you can find me a sail, then but otherwise 5 gold should cover it.
That seems acceptable. I'll give him 5 gold.
All right, thank you. That is quite generous of you, and your business. And he looks over at Iluna and says, and oh, I see you as well. You already have a bit of a hoard yourself.
If that's how you want to take it.
Well,
They're
there
a
are.
little bit weird.
What's that?
A little bit special than a horse.
Well, you see, there are some companion trainers out there who get a whole slew of them. They go into tournaments and battle one another. Quite a spectacle, if you ask me. It's a massive sport over on the east coast of Faerun. I am trying to introduce it to the west coast of Faerun. I'm starting to introduce different arenas in the area. If you're interested, and he hands you a pamphlet that that on the front of it has the images of the snatcher orbs that are used to capture creatures, and it says Ashoke Nabums have to nab a bunch.
Half a nab a bunch. What are the... I had my own, and then yay.
I
only...
Oh, you have one. Might I see it?
She tentatively holds her only remaining orb out, but doesn't give it to him. Just show it to him.
Oh, that is quite interesting. That is definitely. And he goes over into his supplies, and he pulls out a few orbs that look like this. He says they are definitely different than the new modern snatchers. I imagine it probably does the same. Timeless void. Allows you to keep them safe and whatnot during travel. Yours is much more ornate and seems far more individualized.
It appeared with the other 3, but now I only have, or the other 2. I only have the 1. So, can you tell me more about your companions?
Yeah, and so like at this point, Zash, you have arrived up in Phandalin, and so Stacy, were you asking him like about a specific one, or just like them in general?
In general, because I can't remember what you all shared.
Oh yeah, so he starts telling you about about the couple companions that he has with him right now for sale. There is, and I'm going to link their, or you can pull up their pages in the book that is in there. But there is the bloom crawler, which is the one that looks like the bald sore. It is a small unaligned plant. There is the crabbit, which is a crow rabbit sort of hybrid creature. There is the mimcat, which is the cat mimic, and then there's the wolper tinger, which again I'm going to post a picture of each one of these in the chat. And so he sort of starts going over, some more. He's more trying to sell you on the pitch of companion dueling and battling. Explaining how some companions, they love the fight. They live for it, in fact, and they love to battle one another to get stronger and to get more powerful. I'm sure that any one of your companions might be interested in that. And Zash, at this point, you walk up and you see these creatures sort of prancing about, and this sort of rotund man standing there explaining this to Iluna and Seth.
Sash.
Yeah, Zash is just gonna be super pissed off and walk away.
Iluna watches him. She'll check up on him in a minute. I mean, she just had this experience with companions, and now there's other companions. It's gonna override a little tiny bit.
Okay. So Zash, where are you heading in the inn? I imagine.
I thought, were you guys done with all of your stuff? I didn't want to interrupt that.
No, I just want to know, when you were walking away from that, were you going into the inn?
Yeah, I'm going to find Zelene.
Okay. But yeah, he looks at you, Iluna, and he says, might you be interested in expanding your collection?
Yeah. I'm sorry. What? I don't know anything about these creatures, though.
Well, and he reaches over and he grabs the mimcat. So basically, so that I'm not having to, so I'm not,
No.
sit here and give the description of each one. We'll say that during this time, he sort of goes over like, what each one of these companions is. So we will say that during this time, Cephas and Iluna are learning about the 4 companions that are up for grabs. Like I said, the bloom crawler, the crabbit, the mimcat, and the wolper tinger. And he does explain during this time that should you choose to adopt one with a mandatory adoption fee, that there is that included with it would be the snatcher orb that they could be kept safely in, and he does agree that that if he can get a sell from either one of you, that he will throw in a snatcher orb for Spunky and for Piper.
Ooh.
And so with
Okay.
that, yeah.
Does he say how much they are?
He says that his adoption rate is 50 gold per.
Okay. I can only afford like one.
That covers the costs of the snatcher, as well as that also comes with that comes with a I'll say a 10 day, no, I'll say a 10 days worth of food for that particular creature's diet, because in this book they literally have diets. The bloom crawler just needs sunlight, but the crabbit eats insects and vegetation. The mimcat literally eats anything, and the wolpertinger eats berries, fruits, leaves, and nuts.
See, that's where all the decision making. You're not gonna actually make us make a decision right now, do you?
But he does explain that. Oh, I'm sorry. I completely fucked up. I was looking at my notes. Sorry. So the crabbit is 15 gold. The bloom crawler is 25. The wolpertinger is 50, and the mimcat is 75. Sorry. I looked at one number, and I do apologize for that.
Still worth the 75. Can Albina see this through the window? Out of character. She's about to run out
know what's going on.
I would say that you are on the inside of the building with Zelene.
Now you don't care.
So not at the moment.
She's about to abandon Zelene and Nylor for a cat.
But while that is going on, while that discussion is going on, we will move the we will pan the camera into the Stonehill Inn, following Zash as he is sort of storming in there, and you see Tolman standing there behind the counter, wiping some stuff down. He goes, "Hey, Zash, welcome back. What's your friends told me about what's going on. Are you able to get that resolved?" Your mic's muted.
No, not yet.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Well, I mean, you're like of all your senses and right and everything.
Yes, Tolben. Jesus
right,
Christ.
Well, hey, I'm not sitting here saying that for my own sake. I'm sitting here making sure that you still got all your faculty thing. I mean, you're a good kid, and I don't want to see anything happening to you.
I'll point to the necklace. Do you see this?
I do. Not sure I've ever seen anything like that.
It's because it was given to me by a literal god to stop any progression of it, so you don't have to worry about it, okay?
And you see like some of the other patrons in here, like looking over, like, and he goes, "Wow, literal god. I'll keep that in mind. Well, got a nice holy roller over here. Well,
yes."
He says, "Do you know what's all going on outside? I heard all this commotion. Some little critters running around.
Just, some slave trader, disgusting human being, scum of the earth, that deal."
Oh, that's upsetting. I'll maybe send a word over to Harbin.
Yeah, that might be good. Just so you guys know, Zash really does not like when people, cage animals and shit.
Sure.
And, fur trading and all he is very, very against all of that stuff.
I too would imagine as a tabaxi, you might be a little bit more sympathetic towards animals.
He's trying very hard right now to not go full Karen on that dude.
Yeah.
The animals too than the people. But I would want to take the cat just to take care of it, but I know what you mean. Again, the rat's life is more important than everyone else.
Alina's similar, but she just had this crazy experience with her own orbs, and now there's other orbs, and it's kind of.
I'll say Iluna's life just goes, it's not even 0 to 60. It's just 60. It's 60 to 60 to just all the time.
So much shit, like the goddesses and her necklace, which never did fuck all for decades. Now
suddenly you touch it while you're bathed
stuff.
under the light of the full moon, and at the shrine of the moon goddess, and next thing you know, it's teleporting you into the Feywild.
Perfect storm, you know.
Crazy. Crazy.
She gains this parrot, this bird 5 days ago, and then lose it.
Yep.
Nothing. Tomorrow she's gonna disappear apparently, or will turn into something. She doesn't know what's gonna happen anymore.
Crazy shit, right?
I'll look at Tolman and ask him, are they in the usual rooms upstairs?
Oh yeah, that big guy with the the big sword. He's outside. I think you probably saw him. Hard to miss, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe everybody else is upstairs. They had. By the way, maybe you can explain something to me. What's up with that girl that they had taken up there? Was she all right? Like she seemed like a hostage situation, and I was very tempted to notify Harbin, but I mean I trust you guys. Just want to make sure my trust is in the right place.
I've
Talk
already
about me out of character.
No. He's talking about Zaleen.
No.
The fact that you guys took a hostage up there.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No, she's one of the people who illegally took refuge in the mines up north. And we captured her, and now we're bringing her back.
Okay, I see. So I imagine, do you want to send word to, the constable up in Neverwinter?
Well, Harbin's still trying to figure out what he wants to do with her, so, we're kind of just playing it by ear right now. So I'll let you know, though.
Understand. Well, keep in mind, if you need a place to hold her for a while, it's not used for very much anymore, but I think maybe, oh shit, I don't have her name. It's Greywind. Yeah. He says, down at the, down just beyond the Coster down there, there's like an old holding cell down there. Back whenever Phandalin used to be a little bit bigger back in its heyday, there was a jail cell there at one time. I think it's still at least in decent enough shape. If you need to hold her for any period of time, while you're waiting to find out what's going on, might be an option for you.
Well, unfortunately, this one can polymorph herself into very small creatures, so...
Oh!
Unless it's literally a box.
No, it's definitely I mean, I have crates downstairs, got barrels and stuff, but don't necessarily know if I feel too comfortable with sequestering a criminal or not into a barrel. So, I'll let you.
What you don't know won't hurt, right? And I'll wink at him.
Well, I mean, preferably if ignorance is bliss, but accessory to potential.
Tolman, I'm just fucking with you. It's okay.
All right. Well, yeah, got me a little bit concerned. Seem a bit steamed up right now, but I'll let you go on. If you need anything, give me a holler.
All right, thanks, bud. And I'll head upstairs.
All right. So at this point, I imagine maybe Smith has. At this point, Smith has definitely, identified his goggles of object reading, and so I will sort of put the story right now where Zash is heading upstairs as Smith is coming out of his room from the time that he identified these, and Albina and Nylor are in Nylor's room with Zaleen.
Okay. So Smith is still in his own room?
No, Smith and you are basically like walking down the hallway towards one another upstairs, just outside of Nylor's room, where you can see Albina is standing there, like trying to peek down the stairs and like look out the door to see what the commotion outside is.
Whoa, what's up, sexy Specs? I imagine he has the goggles on, right?
Do you, Smith?
Yes, I do.
Yes.
So what do you say to that comment, Smith?
Just say, you like my new goggles? I take it?
Yeah, well, are those the ones that you found?
Yeah.
Did you figure out what they do?
Yeah, believe it or not, they help me identify stuff.
Really? Can you identify these, and I'll put up my wrappings. My thunder bracers.
Okay.
Because I still haven't figured out how to recharge them yet. And I've been planning on having Smith identify them as soon as he fucking learned how to. So maybe I could figure out how to recharge them.
Okay, let's do it.
So I'll take them off and I'll hand them to him.
Okay. I like this. Yeah. So you hold out your bracers, and Smith, you put the goggles on. You know, a few seconds go by, and you're sort of getting this mental image in your head, this information on how these bracers work. That you're learning that they were enchanted with at one time with thunderous magic, that they are able to create bursts of air, and there are 4 charges that go with it, and that once the charges have been used up, they need to be subjected to an electrical charge to be recharged of their thunderous energy.
Okay.
Well, that's easy enough. They just need to be charged up, and I'll use an electric chromatic orb on it.
Oh damn! Okay.
Oh shit.
Yeah. You cast chromatic orb, and basically, so normally when you cast chromatic orb, you create this, this like 4-inch diameter sphere of magical energy, and you've changed it. Mostly it's fire. But, you know the you know the component and the method to change it up and make it electric. And as you do, you sort of form it out of your hand and you press it into the bracers, and you see the bracers just sort of vibrate, and yeah, they are charged. So Zash, you can go ahead and take off the used charges on that, and now you have 4 charges. As an action, you can expend a charge to punch the air with such force that a massive shock wave of air strikes enemies in front of you. All creatures in a 5-foot wide, 50-foot long line originating from yourself make a DC 15 con save, or take 4d6 thunder damage and be knocked prone or pushed 15 feet back.
Nice.
Hell yeah.
Thanks,
I never
buddy.
All creatures, though.
All creatures. It is just poof. Because if you remember, where these were used was Gray made them to knock the kobold that was attacking his granddaughter, and he pushed both the kobold and his granddaughter over the ledge.
And I missed the save.
And you missed the save. And she fell and hit her head. Yeah.
Slight
I never
concussion.
I was really anticipating you having to trek your way up to Neverwinter to get use of those, but I commend you for thinking of that. Good job.
As soon as we got the identification scroll, I almost was like, "Hey guys, can I use this?"
Yeah.
But then I was like, "Oh wait, he's a wizard. He could probably just permanently learn it." So I waited.
Mm-hmm.
Sweet.
Yeah, no, that's smart. Both of you roll a d6 and add that to your inspiration point. I like that idea.
Cool. What's going on out here anyway?
Oh, what'd you say?
What's going on out here? What's going on out here?
All the commotion, I imagine.
Oh, just some guy thinking he has the rights to sell creatures' lives to other human beings like a scum. Yeah, Zash is full mood swing. He was super happy, now he's just like pissed off again.
Damn.
Okay. So yeah,
Yeah, I mean, like,
Hang out
if you
with
want to
me.
fireball him or something, like, I can lure him away.
I want
Free the animals, and then if they want to stay with us after we kill him,
I will
that
go
okay?
rescue them.
You okay, Hannah? You all
Yeah.
good? Okay. Yeah, I mean, if you guys want to rob this dude of the animals so we can set them free in their natural habitats, I'm down.
I don't think they're anywhere near their natural habitats. We'd have to take care of
Listen,
them.
We can
We're not having
railroad
this
this
discussion
campaign.
yeah. I'll say
But
this
we
this
can-
is this discussion
So
can happen
technically,
in-game.
we could take this guy down, and we can take the animals until we get them to their natural habitat, essentially.
None of our characters are, well, not all of us are in the same spot to talk about this. So
Yeah,
No, definitely not.
right now it's just
Oh, wait.
Smith, Albina, and I.
It's just
Because
you
I
and Smith, right?
And Nylor. Nylor
yeah, I
is
guess
also
he
there.
would overhear a bit too. Because you said she was like peeking out the door, right?
She was like peeking out the door, like trying to look down the stairs as much as she could
Yeah.
to see what was going on.
I just stayed to make sure nothing happened to Nylor while everyone ran away. But I was
That's
like,
good. Still interested.
right.
By the way, Albina, did you pray to your god last night?
yeah,
Did you
actually, I
get-
was really hoping you would be back soon. I prayed, and I hope that I can remove this curse from you.
Well, the Somnolors tried that, and unfortunately, it didn't work. I mean, if you want to try, you can, but I'm not sure if you'll get different results.
The power of Morden has nothing on Tempest.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to... This is a pissing contest, I mean... More power to ya.
Albina just, yeah, I'll go ahead and give it a try. I mean, I was hoping we could get this taken care of for you so we could get you back to your family.
Do you need me to do anything? Lay on a temple platform or something? Because they made me lay on an anvil up there, so...
No, I'm just, are you ready for me to do this?
Yeah?
Okay. Well, I'm just gonna cast, I cast it twice, whoops.
Oh, you can just
Okay.
remove one of those.
Well, I
slots.
just put my hands on his shoulders.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
speak that the curse is removed.
Okay. Yeah. So you you channel your divine energy. You channel the power of Tempest. Sort of emulating what you actually witnessed when you and the other followers of Tempest dealt with that were-rat scourge that you had to deal with. You remember this. You remember the incantation. You remember the the gestures that you have to do, and you feel the power of Tempest. You feel this this overwhelming sensation taking over you, and you are passing it on to onto Zash. Zash, as she does this, you do not feel any different than you did when you left whenever the Sonlinors did theirs, and Zelene in the room with Nylor, sort of like peeking, peeking, up at the door. Says, I told you this would not work.
Oh, I'll pull Albina out of... Is she, like, in the doorway? Are we in the
I
room?
sort of imagined Albina in the... Yeah.
Okay, I'll, like, pull her into the hallway more, and I'll shut the door, and I'll say as quietly as I can, do you have Zone of Truth?
Yeah, actually, that's another thing I was preparing as I prayed this morning.
Do you want to go question her?
Wait, do I have it? Why isn't it showing up?
I thought I saw it in your spells. Yeah, you have it. It's 2nd level.
Oh, I'm only on my 3rd levels. I'm not on all my spells. I'm like,
Oh,
what?
yeah.
That makes more sense. I'm like, I just lied to him. I don't have. Yeah. Yeah. Are you worried about
You
her
lied about
turning back to a were creature? Should we command her to be still and then ask her?
I don't think we need to command her to be still. I don't think she's gonna try to run with all of us in there. What I'm worried about is her story with this cure. I mean,
Yeah,
for
let's
me,
go
it
in
just
and-
seems hard to believe, you know?
Yeah, I think let's go in and we'll cast this on her, and you can ask her.
Okay.
Oh, shit. Trying to pull. I thought I actually had
We only have 10 minutes, so.
Okay, that should be more than enough.
Just to sort of give you. Oh,
Let me grab some water real quick.
sure. Neither one of these is really perfect. This is probably a little bit closer to what I had imagined. I just don't know how those fucking stairs work. That doesn't make any
I'll be
sense.
right back real quick as well.
Yeah, do your thing.
You see my cat?
Is he named Mickey because of Mickey Mouse?
That's the name he came with. And
Oh,
you
is
can
it?
see he's the king of the house. He's just laying on the bed while the humidifier blows toward him.
Okay.
And there's the panda bear that he likes to bathe every morning. He's like, this is getting entertaining. I'll sit here and watch.
Yeah. Actually, this one isn't bad. This might do the trick. All right.
Melon Perrier.
What about Perrier?
Watermelon.
Oh yeah, how was that?
Great.
I got some of my G Fuel over here.
Oh, yeah, I never did order that. And then I went on a Rain Monster Turbo buying spree last night and the night before. I mean, they were buy one, get one free. I was like, this is better than my Amazon deal. Oh, wait, we're streaming live, aren't we?
We are.
Whoops.
Sorry, I'm back.
Not that it, no,
I
you know.
do not work for Amazon, Perrier, Rain Turbo, or
Hashtag
Smart.
ad. Hashtag ad.
Not sponsored.
Not sponsored. Hashtag ad.
However, these Figgy Pops, however, are wonderful.
So this is Nylor. This is Zeline. Smith. Sash. I guess these two would be outside. Yeah, here we go. You're just gonna literally see the entire map for this, so.
Oh, the inn has a map.
Yeah, it doesn't technically. This is just a map of an. But it'll suffice.
Nope.
Once Hannah is back, we can go together. Ooh, oh shit, that would have been a bad thing to do.
No, I'm sitting with the concept of Iluna watching Zash walk past, all like pretty pissy.
Yeah.
I feel like
mean,
you would know though that like I'm not about like just trading and selling of.
Well, I'm sure she would have picked up on that if she didn't quite grasp it before.
Yeah, I mean, because I think I actually
Curious
told.
because of her. You probably possibly may have.
Yeah, I think I told you when we were with oh, what was the hunter dude's name? Asdalor?
Asdalor.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
I'm
do
pretty
think
sure
you
that's
may
when I
have said
told you guys that I didn't like, you know, like I didn't like fur trading. I didn't like people who kept animals as like, I think I said hostages instead of companions. Like he's okay with situations like you and anime because it's like an organic relationship that's formed. But like when you go and you buy something and you're like, oh, now you're mine. He just sees it as slavery, even if it's an animal.
And now you're mine.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
No,
can
that's
command.
how I feel
go ahead.
in real life. I question whether humans should have pets sometimes. They're not slaves exactly, but
I will never
But,
question
like,
if
yeah.
we should have pets. I love my
Stop.
boo.
and I'm
I
not
know.
the biggest fan of the zoo.
I hate
They're just
zoos.
on display.
I
Uh,
really hate zoos.
I
I'm okay
definitely. Good.
I was just gonna say I'm okay with zoos when it's situations where the animal would die. Otherwise,
Yep.
Yeah.
I think that's how zoos
get
should operate. I'm not big like SeaWorld,
No.
where they like
Yeah.
went out and captured, you know, like killer whales, and then they're like, oh,
And
here's
put 'em in a
your
tiny
here's your tank where you can, you know, barely turn around in.
Yeah,
That's
I-
a little
Yeah.
fucked up.
100% agree. I definitely think that you know places like SeaWorld are just atrocious, but zoos like the only thing that I will say about zoos is like generally trying to maintain and raise animals and like trying to rehabilitate them, that I'm fine with. Like if
Yeah.
you're being funded by the public coming to see these animals that you are like raising and rehabilitating, yeah, I'm perfectly fine with that. I don't like a lot of for-profit stuff though when it comes to that. I think that gets pretty gross.
Most zoos are under the guise of it's for education. So we captured all these animals to teach you about them, but that's not the only way.
Well,
Mhm.
tell them there's ways to learn about people. So what are they gonna do?
Let's put up.
That literally happened though. There were
There-
like African American children put in cages at zoos back in like just in the 40s.
Oh.
Like
Or
not
people
even that
anomaly.
long ago.
I mean,
Like,
shoot,
freak
think
shows
about
or
the
like bi-
circuses, the traveling circuses that used to have like, you know, the 3-armed woman and shit like that, and like they would have dwarves and
play
all right, I want to see if this fixes this.
and
Oh
all
wait,
political
I know.
correctness.
Bow.
Iluna's kind of like she
Wait, we
just had
didn't
this
get
crazy
my
situation.
person.
What?
Zach has his crazy situation, and
We didn't
she's
get
not
to
got
change.
to speak.
I mean, Abina, the Hero Forge one.
Oh yeah, I didn't. Well, while you guys are role playing the scene with the whole zone of truth, I will attend to that.
Yay! I guess
You
I
may
should
begin.
I kind of want to say that I don't think Iluna would necessarily take any of these creatures because she knows nothing of. She didn't go
Right.
after them herself. She doesn't know.
Let's get in there, Zash.
all right, let's do
Mhm.
this.
She has current
I don't even know where
thing
the
to
door
attend
is. Are we just gonna? Is it open? I'm
I
just
think
gonna
it's
go
like
where-
literally right where your character is.
Yeah, doors open.
Why can't I move her?
Oh wait,
it
sorry.
must be shut.
There you go.
Sorry.
Door's open now.
Open the door.
I'll look at Smith and ask him,
Oh.
are you gonna come with us or do you want to go outside?
Abina just reposes on the bed. She's ready to cast, but she's relaxing on the bed. Is that a bed?
Mm-hmm. You there, Smith? Do you hear me?
Oh, it's muted.
Sorry, I'll come
Sweet.
with you guys. I have my mic
Okay.
muted.
I'll step in.
All right. Yep. Iggy.
Shit.
Iggy will stand at the door to make sure nobody comes.
Okay, watch. And I cast Zone of Truth.
Alrighty then. That is something that she can.
She needs a,
test.
what is it, charisma saving throw?
Yes.
14 or higher?
You know for a fact that she has failed, subjected to effects of.
Yes.
Do you give her any indication that happened? Yeah,
Oh,
because
Yeah.
you know she failed.
have at her, Zash.
I'll look at Zillian and I'll ask her, the cure that you proposed you can make, are you telling the truth about that?
You're asking if I can make a cure for
Yes.
cursed? Yes.
I'll look at Albina. Did she tell the truth?
Yes, Albina. Yeah, Albina. You know that during this time she cannot actively speak any lie, but
She can evade it.
she can evade it. She can speak in ways that do not have to actively address it. So that is something to keep in mind.
Okay.
Zaline, yes or no? Can you cure this curse?
Yes.
Yes or
And
no?
are you-
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Sorry. And are you leading us to this, is it temple? Where's she This temple, is this really where we need to be heading to get all your supplies? Yes or no?
Not. I have supplies in places across the region, but the closest supplies are at the temple. And the only place that I have Jacqueline's blood is in the temple.
Do you need Jacqueline's blood to make the cure? Yes or no?
You want me to say no, don't you?
I want you to answer truthfully.
Yes.
Okay.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Are you actively leading us into a trap?
I can tell you that when I was at the temple, there were no traps. It has been some days since I have been there.
Zillian, I would prefer to grow some sort of relationship here. I don't want us to constantly be enemies and to constantly be questioning each other's motives. Are you planning on betraying us?
If you help me, I will help you. Is that showing her token?
Yeah.
Yes.
Nice.
If we help you, Do you give us your word not to betray us? And I will give you my word that we will not betray you. And I will give you some additional information about an individual who is extraordinarily knowledgeable on lycanthropy.
If we are to work together and you are able to get me my supplies, I will create a potion, and if we are to work together, I would appreciate some of your guidance if you have information.
I do. If I show you an act of trust, will you give me your word right now that so long as you're in our company, you will not bite anybody and pass on this curse? Even if you feel your life is in danger, you will instead rely on us.
I am if my life is threatened to a degree in which I am in a survival situation, I will act as I absolutely have to. I assume you would do the same in any situation where your life is on the line.
Here's the thing. If I think you're going to pass this on to somebody else, I cannot free you of your chains right now. I cannot untie you. If you put your life in our hands, we will protect you. If you agree, while you are with us in our company, you will not bite anybody under any circumstances.
Can I ask how much time has passed? Because I don't think Aluna would ignore Zash running past for too long.
I mean, that's really dependent on like Zash getting up here and starting this has only been like 2 or 3 minutes. Like I would say maybe 5 minutes, because when they got up there, Smith used identify on the goggles. Albina used remove curse, which lickety split. And then going into here. So it's really like been only about 5 minutes. If at this point she, is walking away, this might be about the time that she, might be getting up there.
Kind of like, yeah, she would consider. I mean, she knows he's been through this whole ordeal, and this guy with his pets or whatever is a massive distraction, but she was going to meet with everyone and probably would say, I don't know, I need some time to think about your creatures. I'm more curious about your snatcher orbs.
Oh yeah, those yeah. I mean, like 25 gold a piece. 25 gold a piece. You can have one if you're. I mean, you can go out and you can catch stuff. Some these critters are found across the land. I mean, even stuff like bats. I've seen somebody who just had like bat, a lobster, and a coconut crab fighting in a tournament. I mean, didn't do too well.
That's cool. I'm not planning on fighting them.
Oh well,
my
yeah.
companions are a battle.
But, oh yeah. Like I said, I do have them for sale.
I'm just surprised at everything that's happened, personally. But except this, I think we need to find our friends.
Yep, I agree. Actually, do I actually need an orb for this spider?
You
can
don't.
technically
You do not need an orb. The orb just allows you to catch them, but if you use a snatcher, the benefit you get from that is that let's see here, if you have the snatcher and a creature, so if a creature has been inside the snatcher for a cumulative of 2d10 days after its capture, gains a +4 bond. If a creature is reduced to 0 hit points outside of this, it makes a DC 10 or half the damage taken, whichever's higher, Constitution saving throw. On a success, it's teleported back into the orb with 1 hit point. On a failure, it dies. So it does sort of give you a chance to save the little guy if something tragic might happen. You don't need it. You have the option to have it if you want.
No, I would just say we need to see our friends. This is not as prominent as what's been going on with our friends.
Hey,
And
I just
myself-
said I'm gonna be here. I'm gonna be
But-
here all day, leaving in the morning. You know, a showcase got to get his show on. Got other places to be, and you know, there is options here for you, kid. Sort of, you know.
Okay, I'm probably significantly older than you, but we'll
Yeah. So like I said, we will. I'll start moving you guys up there, and there he is. So yeah, you guys will be heading up the heading up inside. So we'll go back to where Zash is. So what was the last thing you said? It was you know, about making sure she doesn't actively go and bite somebody, right?
Yeah, I basically just said, you know, I want to untie her, but I can't do that unless she gives me her guarantee that she will not bite somebody else, even if her life is threatened, that she will instead place her life in our care and we will protect her.
I'm gonna get up and speak to her and just like walk up to her slowly and say, Zaleen, and look her in the eyes. I give you my word, and I swear on Tempest that I will protect you if it means my life, if we can get the cure for Zash.
Well, there is a solution that you do not have to worry about me at all. Being in a situation where I am presenting this issue, I will give you my word that should you get my stuff, I will give you my word that I will not transform or try and run or anything like that. As long as you are bringing back my equipment, I will just stay here. I am in no shape to be fighting. I mean, you deathfully seem far more capable at this than I. My chest does require that I be touching it to open it. But I can stay here. You go off, retrieve my belongings. We will create the potion, and then we will go our separate way. And I will say at this point, this is when this is Iluna and Seftis arrive.
I'll look at
It's very crowded.
Smith, Nylor, and I'll be in a...
It's tiny,
Over
tiny room.
Smith, there you go.
I
and ask
don't-
them their thoughts.
I do not think we should trust her. Either she comes with, or like I don't think we should just be like, oh yeah, just we'll leave you chained up in this room. We're gonna go on an adventure. God knows when we'll be back. You have many moons to try and escape. Like, no, I don't think it's worth it. She should come with.
I mean, out of game, I will remind you guys, she is in Zone of Truth. Just keep that in mind.
Yeah.
Celine, do you swear?
I 100% though. I 100% understand Nylor's. It is.
Yeah, so
It
do
is
I.
fully warranted.
Do you swear you will stay in this room the time we are gone?
I will stay here if provides me some food. This has been a good day since I have had the meal.
I'll look at Smith. What are your thoughts?
I don't think we have any reason to doubt her. I mean, we had her in Zone of Truth, so
If we could bring her
yeah,
food, I think it's good.
yeah. I say we bring her some food and go to the temple. And
I'll call
she
it
should...
Iggy. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say she should. She said she's gonna stay put. I think we can trust her at that.
I'll call Iggy and
What's up, boss?
hey, can you go get her some food?
Oh yeah. Well, and sort of
I'll
turns to her.
handle
What do you want? She goes, see if he has. When I walked in here, I smelled the amazing aroma of some cheeses. As stereotypical as that may sound, my family before she sort of just looks at herself. We raised goats and cows and made our own cheese. You know, I guess
Have you ever had-
serendipitous.
Have you ever had Famunda cheese?
No, I cannot say that I have.
So you're telling me you've never had any cheese from under these nuts?
You killed them.
You know, the moment you
And
said it-
Zash just punches himself in the jaw and activates the Thunder Gauntlets.
Oh god, the moment you said it, the moment you started
What's
speaking,
up?
I knew where it was going, and I realized that I had walked into
I
it.
want to stay in here
Oh my
Why?
god, that was amazing.
because
I'll be playing this for 45 more minutes, and we can play a
Kudos to
TFT.
you. If I was, if I was, take away a charge of your inspiration, but I thought it was great. Good job.
Oh my god, sorry, I'm
She-
14 at heart, I promise.
She rolls her eyes at you and says, "Ha ha. Quite funny. Quite funny."
I'll just snap my... Hey, part of the crew already.
And you see Iggy scampers downstairs. A few moments later, comes back up
Dee
with a plate of assorted cheeses, and
can you invite
Hands
them
it
to
to her.
leave? Ah! Can this garbage please get out of my way?
As he does,
No, what do you
I'll
need?
kind of untie her.
I just asked you.
Like, when he goes
I
down,
didn't
he
hear
gets the
you.
food
You didn't
and
finish.
everything.
sure.
Can you invite...
And you see as you're untying her, she
what was
like
his
you know,
name?
like
I think it
that's
was
what
like
Mark,
Thunderwave?
but
Thundercat swag.
I can move again.
He-
What's your game?
He no, because the reason I'm going to be doing that
like,
is because he has
cracks
to
her
go
back a
do
little
stuff on
bit.
WoW.
And
But he's not going to be doing stuff
she
for very long. That's why I
sorta
said I
like,
could play like one game.
you know, gestures to Nylor and says,
That's him.
says,
Come
"You're
here.
very you're very quiet.
That's him.
When,
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
You really did not speak too much when we were asleep. When everyone else was sleeping last night, and she, you know, scoots over onto the bed a little bit and gets herself comfortable. She says, I mean, time you will learn to lighten up."
Iluna would want kind of, I don't know, to get an idea of what's going on. When Zash is back, Ray. So Zash, we're still seeking out her solution. I guess there wasn't success elsewhere. What's been going on?
It looks like the road to curing me is in Zelene's hands right now.
And you've made a deal with her? You're trusting her?
I think we came to the conclusion together that yeah, we are gonna have to go get her things for her and bring it back, and she's agreed to stay here.
Well, I'll trust your decision. I'm sure you, with your magic spells and your time talking with her, come to the conclusion it needs to. How was your time with the Solinaires? And Greymane, he was there too. Yeah,
Yeah, they
was said.
were they were all good. It's amazing how much of that temple has changed and been rebuilt. It's almost not recognizable. I mean, do you remember all the rubble outside, all the busted and broken buildings? All of those have been rebuilt.
Already? Seems like no
yeah.
time at all.
You must be new to dwarven craftsmanship, because they build... When they build quick. I mean, they had roaring forges in the temple. They had a huge furnace, and yeah, it's amazing what they've done to that place.
Also, no time at all it has been 8 days since you guys. Yes, that was you guys left Phandalin.
Not very much time to rebuild something.
Yeah, I mean, hey, dwarves and tabaxi working together. It's almost like a good racial relationship for some reason.
I'll have to get back down there at some point.
Yes,
maybe
and to go over
see
and see
Axel.
her. Yeah, he got promoted. He's like running the whole show there now.
Wow, good for him.
Out of character, I don't know if we dealt with this last time. Is Zelene still hurt?
Like, ankle wise?
Yeah.
I mean, it's you imagine maybe it's a little sore. She might be nursing it a bit, but it's not something that's like actively ailing her. It's probably, it's the cut has healed.
Okay.
She's not missing any hit points, if that's what you're.
Well, I was gonna see if, an act of good faith, if we could heal her little ankle before we left and leave her with the food.
I mean, you can.
Because I only have mass healing word now, but I was gonna see if anyone had any kind of mend her wounds.
Smith.
I wanted to bring to attention Iluna's new power, especially to Zash of all people.
Well,
no, go ahead.
He would be the one.
Didn't we just like retcon it though? So like.
No. So it was the night before.
So it's an actual change.
It was an actual thing that like that moment, like when everybody was when you were, down at the temple, everybody else was resting for the night. This event was happening, and she was just coming back from that when Seftis was outside, with Ashoke and all that jazz. So it is like it has been only about like an hour or so that she's had like any of this.
Okay. Sorry,
and you may notice that all the pets are out at the same time, and that shouldn't be happening. But,
Do you still have the rat? I don't remember. Did you keep it or did you set
Yeah,
Free Willy free?
Piper's still hanging with me.
Okay.
So, and then Steve Septus has got the spider near him,
Right.
and Iluna will be green. Anime will be matching her in a really obvious way. So some things would be obvious that something's been going on.
So what's all this stuff here and here and there?
Here and there. As something as is the theme lately, otherworldly has happened, and I won't share the details, but Anime and I seem to be bonded in a way we've never been before. We can read each other's thoughts, and the orbs for the other two just burst, and they're now have free will, it seems. Right now they want to stay with us, but yeah. So it's
That's
been
amazing.
a whirlwind of changes.
I'll look at Anime and I'll ask her. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Okay. I just want to say, out of game, she has no idea of the other changes.
No,
Like
because
the
you have not put anything to test her yet.
No.
And
Sash.
when you tell me all that, I'll just look at Anime and ask her. So now you two can communicate.
I mean, she sort of like cocks her head towards you a little bit, and you know, you see like a slight nod to her head.
Now I'll look back at Iluna. I'm very happy for you that you can talk with her now.
I'm ecstatic. We're rather thrilled.
Would you like to hear more about?
Special.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. I'm done.
Would you like to hear more about the Solinaire priests and Axholm and all the stuff I found out?
Yes. If there's more, I don't know what.
I was just gonna kind of use this as like an RP moment, so that like we could go downstairs and get some food and talk about it, and then if anybody else had anything that they wanted to do, unless Stacy wants to.
Yeah, I didn't think you were going to repeat it all again.
Yeah. Unless Stacy has more, if you have more that you want to do up here, Stacy.
No, it seems like we've got a new direction with Zayn. I guess Iluna would just nod over to her and.
Yeah, and I'll fill Iluna and Septus in on everything that happened in the room, and what happened to me back at the temples and stuff.
Oh, she would also talk to Zash about this animal seller, because what in the world we might want to do about that, if anything.
I mean, yeah, I was gonna say, what do you guys want to do about it? Okay.
Yeah, I kind of want to. As a player, I want one. As Iluna, she would have similar wariness as Sash, especially since Sash made himself quite clear, a little more so than if she was on her own, I suppose. But I want one as a player, so let's figure that out.
I kind of want one too.
So, in character, Zash would say, I won't judge you if you get one, so long as you treat it as a companion and not a pet, which I know you will do. But I do have an extraordinarily huge amount of distaste to people who go and capture creatures and then sell them like objects and not the living beings that they are.
Nope, I agree. It's what, on the fence, deciding to buy one, but it also feels like I would free it from where whoever else would get it instead. He promotes the idea of battling them, and that seems horrid. I don't intend on battling these creatures for entertainment.
I would feel a lot better if they were in our care instead of somebody like him watching over them and trafficking them.
Let's go steal them.
You want to steal them?
Free the animals as well.
We should rescue them, maybe.
I think Albina and Nylor have, spells that just suddenly make people not able to see and hear anymore.
No.
Let's invite him to dinner.
Let's invite him to dinner.
In one of the rooms here, and
let him hang out with his queen as a threat.
Hey, I had a question real quick, Lucas. Did Tolbin tell me that the jail cell was like abandoned and like there was nobody there?
Yes.
Okay. So, I have an idea. You guys can distract him. And since I am fast as fuck, I can steal them, store them there, since nobody goes there anymore. And when he leaves town, we can go back and collect them.
I wanted to come up and just let you know.
Wait, what is this plan again?
Thanks.
They like invite
animals.
Yeah, like they invite the guy in
time.
for like dinner and stuff, and like while he's
D&D.
chit-chatting and
We've been playing for like 3 hours and nothing's happened.
Zash, since he's super fucking fast with boots of speed and feline swiftness, can just haul ass back and forth, taking the caged animals and hiding them there. And then once he leaves, we all have... Or we can lure him there, lock him in, and then just take...
Blind him while we're doing this, or you're doing this just where he can't see you?
No, like he would be inside the inn, right? And you guys would be like eating and having a jolly time, getting him drunk. And I would be outside moving all the creatures.
Oh, he doesn't have them in his that bag that just goes down, reaches deeper than you can imagine?
Oh, they're in his bag?
Come on, that was funny.
No, they're just out and about.
Yeah, I thought they were like on a cart or something.
The finger.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I like that.
Did I get you with that one or not?
Than you can imagine, too.
Damn it.
I like it too.
And
like I said,
Luna can bring him and tell him I want to meet him if that's in your interest.
Yeah.
So that he won't feel any
Well,
kind of.
he's definitely curious about anime. If anime's in with this plan on rescuing these creatures,
Or
asked her.
Or maybe
invite
we
him to
can.
dinner.
Or maybe we could just go talk to Harbin and like try to confiscate them legally. I mean, he does run the town. We could just say he's an illegal trader. And... What?
I said the players want them as pets.
Well, I know, but I'm saying like we could like legally confiscate them and then just keep them. I don't know. Anybody else have any plans? That's just the first thing that popped into my head.
I like the logo.
Or we can lure him to the jail cell and just blind him and leave him in there.
That's what I thought the original plan was, but I kind of don't want it to be like we look like some bandits, you know. I'd like to get these animals, and if they're wanting to stay with us, the cat in particular, if it would love to be my new child.
Or you guys can go buy them. It's up to you.
No, I don't want to buy them. That's even worse. I'd rather take care of it, but get it for free.
I don't want to buy it. I want to steal it.
I just want it.
Smith,
I wanted to choose if it wants to go here or its natural habitat, and I will take good care of it if it chooses me.
Yeah, I think Smith was the other one that wanted one, so...
Mm-hmm.
Any ideas, Smith?
No ideas, unfortunately.
Okay.
A fair warning. I will cast blindness and deafness on anyone who tries to take the cat if it chooses me.
You guys might have to roll for which one wants what, or go buy it.
Look,
All right, well, it's up to you guys
as a
if you want to.
player, I went $1, so that's not a problem.
Septis doesn't really want one, but if you're gonna go and steal the animals, can you steal me an orb at the same time?
We need some orbs.
Taking all the orbs so he can't catch any more. Yeah. We're not promoting this
I'm
horrible
set.
arena of killing each other. This guy's making me mad with his fighting animals. They're not meant to be
Oh my
treated like
god. The amount of I'm just sitting over here in my DM world, just like, man, the amount of assumptions being made about this man.
He told us he promotes the idea of fighting. That's
He said
already
he's
been
coming
proven.
over to our area to bring this garbage, you know?
Yeah.
Sure.
And I only know this because Iluna just came and told me, okay?
Listen, we could just snap his neck.
Oh God.
He's
That.
apparently the worst person ever.
How dare he? I already told you how I feel about companions and treating them well.
I didn't hear what you said, Stacy.
Sash, you didn't learn your lesson with your over-the-top reactions.
Hey, this is why I'm leaving it up to you guys. What you want to do. I just throw out the seed of corruption. So, if you guys want to murder him, we can murder him. If you want to rob him blind, we can rob him blind. If you want to do nothing and buy them, then you guys can go do nothing and buy them.
Is there a way to poison him while he's eating or something?
Oh my fucking god. Yeah, actually, I have manticore poison.
Oh,
So,
you do.
yes, we could poison him and he could just unfortunately die right
Hello,
here
Ron,
in
you saved the
Tobin's
animal.
Inn.
It's perfect.
No, he would die really slowly.
Ooh, premeditated murder.
But it's up to you
Well,
guys.
Anime asked, or Iluna asked Anime if she wants to participate in this in any fashion. She says yes, though.
The police investigated themselves for wrongdoing and found out they did not commit any wrongdoing.
So we have now made a decision.
Actually, as DM, and as I have made that stance before, that I voiced Anime. She is just going to reference the fact that the creatures did not seem that they were upset to be with him. Use that information as you will. I will let you guys do, I guess, whatever you want.
I'm against it. Like, if you guys want the pets, just buy them. If you don't have the gold for it, just meet up with them later and buy them. Like, I don't understand. This is completely like, why do some wrongdoing? Like, Anime just said they don't seem to be in any danger. They see, like, they're out of their.
I didn't know that until now.
Well,
They're-
no,
they're-
actually, that's up to Iluna.
They're out of
Yeah,
their orbs. They if they wanted to run away, they very well could have. So like, this is just some like little merchant that is going from town to town. You guys were talking about like putting him in prison, blinding him, killing him. Like he's just trying to make a living. Like this is a little ridiculous.
You're promoting animals fighting each other.
It's like dueling, not to death. He never said to death. It's like dueling.
But do they have a choice?
But don't they have? I don't understand. I thought that they, like, he had control over them, so they didn't really have a choice. So.
You're assuming.
He's right. They are out of the orbs, and they.
Yeah,
So
they're
those
out of their.
orbs don't control them.
No.
I think the orbs just house them.
I mean, none of you would technically know that information.
Yeah, like it's
Wouldn't
all
Stacy?
assumptions.
Wouldn't Stacy know?
I feel like we have more pressing matters like what should we do about the fact that Zash may be turning into a were-rat? We should probably fix that first instead of spending all this time and energy and spell slots on maybe capturing and keeping some animals that are very fine with where they're at right now.
We spent like 2 minutes. How long have we been sitting here talking?
It is about 11 o'clock in the. I'll say it's 11:30.
That's my sense. I find like our time and energy could be spent doing other things. So I am gonna opt out of doing anything to this poor merchant. Whatever you guys want to do, I'm out of it.
As soon as Nylor's done saying that, I look at him and I say we rip his fucking head off.
Oh my goodness, Zash.
I'm kidding, guys. I'm not that person anymore.
We
Now I
can
just joke about decapitation.
You just joke.
What all do I know other than out of
You
game?
want to put this guy in his place or not? Anime seems to think the animal is fine.
Yeah, Septus thinks murder is a little excessive.
He doesn't need to die, but do we want to rescue the animals, or are we just going to
It's up to
buy
you
them?
guys. You guys are the ones interested in them. So the three of you, because I think the three of you said you wanted them, so you guys decide what you want to do with this guy.
Well, I wanted to save the cat from having to battle people, other animals. I mean, but I may be understanding differently. So what does Albina know? DM, what do I know actually in the game
About what?
about this guy? Because I wasn't out there.
No, you know nothing. I mean, what you are being told by them, this is the first time that any of you have ever heard of like companion battling and stuff. Like this is a like wholly foreign idea. Like, you know, so basically what Iluna knows and what Septus knows, because they were out there, is that, you know, basically when they are like you can raise them, they can just be your friends. That some of them like the challenge. What?
You got a pamphlet.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean yeah. So the pamphlet basically is more for the battling, for the sport. So that probably does not help the argument that like, you know, that Nylor is probably trying to argue more than that. But basically what you know about, like, what he told you about it is that some people just raise them, some people breed them, some people like to, you know, they're their pets and they just, you know, spend time with one another. You know, that they're more like there is a market for them. You know, some of them are far more rare. He explained that there are some that like claim to hail from the heavens. There are some that are fiendish in nature. There are some that love to be pampered, some that are, you know, really energetic and love to go out and do stuff. There are some that like to battle. There are some that are really lazy and don't really like to do anything. You know, he sort of explains that like they all have their different personalities, that the ones he says, unfortunately, just like in every market that deals with, you know, any kind of animals, you do have those people that do abuse the system, and they, you know, can cause problems for everyone else. But yeah, he pretty much explained to, you know, the two of you that he's trying to get the market here in the West built up and trying to get it moving and like going from town to town and city to city, like talking about this like sport from the East, where, you know, people would come from all around to see these trainers, you know, and these companions that, you know, are participating in this sport, battling out with one another. But, you know, it's like, I mean, out of game, it's Pokemon in essence. Like, you can battle them, they don't die, they faint. Like, they can die, but in a duel, in a sanctioned duel, there are safeguards put in place to make sure that, you know, they do not die. So
do they evolve?
No. But
But your
Not interested
bond
anymore.
can get stronger.
I mean, technically, I mean, you wouldn't know this, but I mean, using a familiar people, so it's like maybe he sort of made a comment to Iluna or Seftis, seeing how Iluna has anime. Oh yeah, there some wizards, and some wizards and like spellcasters, they have their familiars. They've entered them into these contests, and they can like shapeshift and stuff. Like, 1 second they're a hawk, 1 second they're an octopus strangling, one of these guys.
Okay.
Well, shall we go down and see?
You are down. You are on the main floor.
Yeah.
Oh no, I mean to this guy and
All right. Well,
see his companion.
Just go buy what you want to
and
buy.
not bash head in.
Okay.
Isn't going.
So wait, like I must have missed it
Okay,
because
I'm just gonna leave it. Yeah.
I just went to the bathroom.
Yeah,
I may have missed
right.
something. Are we all downstairs? Zelene's upstairs by herself.
Zelene is upstairs by herself.
Okay, can I like? Is there anywhere in the town that I could go and buy a diamond worth at least 300 gold? Would I know this?
The only place that you imagine you might be able to find something like that, well, actually, I guess you wouldn't know, but if you asked the others, they might be able to. Well, I'll leave it up to you. You, Nylor does not. That is what I will say.
Okay.
Yeah, that is where I'll leave it. Nylor.
Before we leave the town, I'll ask. You guys can do whatever you want to do with the merchant.
I'll go up to the merchant.
You're going outside?
Yeah, I will know and talk to him first. She's trying to get a deal.
I gotta go to my character sheet.
So-
Let me see what I have money wise.
Well, so Smith and Iluna are going out there, and okay, Seftis is going as well.
Albina is gonna follow
Yeah.
along.
Okay. And seeing Seftis and Iluna coming back out, he goes, "Hey, welcome back! I see you brought some friends along. Any one of you interested in a companion of your own?" Looking over at you, Smith, and be like wizards love their books. I have this really feisty meme cat. Looking over at Albina.
Albina's just gonna jump in front here and say, "Excuse me, I'm interested in that meme cat. It would be in your best interest."
No. Iluna wanted to. What did she say? Look, I've got a couple of friends here, and we're all pretty keen on your, well, interested in your companions.
Oh, why wouldn't you be? I mean,
What can you do for us? I mean,
Wait.
I already have a companion of my own,
yes.
and
I
I
mean,
went
hey,
and talked with a friend. What kind of deal do you have for us?
well, my deal absolutely stands. If your friends here are looking to invest in a wonderful a traveling companion, a pet, a snuggle buddy, sort of gesturing to the Woolip Tinger, or a battle companion, and gesturing over to the Bloom Crawler. Says, like I said, if you brought anybody by that was looking to, purchase one of them, I would throw in a snatcher for your rat there. This would keep them safe. Like I said, snatchers are great. If anything happens, mishaps happen. Unfortunately, they do. And if something were to happen, the snatcher automatically recalls them, keeps them safe. And
Please.
again, I would say I'll throw one in for the big guy and the little spider up there.
These prices are all over the place. aren't they?
Oh, these are some of the fairest price. These are the fairest prices around. I mean, you go back out east where where the sport and the trade is booming. I mean, these
Only
prices
rolled
are
up.
a steal.
I had something to say. I doubled your sales.
Well, nobody has made a sale just yet.
What's his name again?
His name is Ashoke Nabum.
Ashoka Nabum.
Okay.
Oh, you can just call me Ashoke.
Sure. If we're all interested here in having a companion, buying one from you, is there a way you can drop the prices down and still provide these, what are those orbs called again?
Snatchers.
Snatchers for my friends here?
Ooh, man, you're driving a hard bargain. I don't necessarily know if I can. I mean, well, and again, keep it in mind the snatchers are great to keep them safe. You know, they and he sort of demonstrates this. He picks up he takes the one off the belt, and he aims it at the crabbit, and you see that he sort of depresses the symbol on the front of it, and it shoots out a beam of light. The crabbit turns into a beam of light, much like a Pokemon, and it's recalled. He goes, basically, time has stopped for this little guy. He's safe and sound in there. Nothing can hurt him. Nothing can harm him. And again, like I was saying before, accidents happen. If something happens, once a creature is bonded to a snatcher, and it suffers an incident, it is automatically recalled. So you don't have to worry about anything. I would not. I personally, for the safety of these creatures, would not prefer you purchasing them without the snatchers. That's actually why their prices are set as set at what they are. I mean, I can understand out here in the West, you guys don't really know the market out here. Out east, and he looks over at the Mimcat. He says a Mimcat in this condition with this personality, easily 200 gold, easily.
Oh, that we're not here to try to resell them.
I'm not saying you are. I'm not saying you are.
So this
You
Mimcat, if I want to.
Currently, we are the market out here.
Oh, what were you saying? What were you saying, Hannah?
Ashoka. So if I want this Mimcat, it comes with a showcase. Sorry. It comes with a snatcher to protect my Mimcat, or that's additional price.
Oh no, that was the price. Same price as Kravitz. As hey, again, hopefully the market out here blooms and prices out here become more varied, more known. But Kravitz are actually quite easy to come by. You're more or less paying for the actual snatcher itself, the food that I'm providing. I mean the snatchers about 10 gold a piece. So like I said, you're
female Mimcat.
You told me they were 25.
Did I say 25?
Oh, you did. I wrote it down.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It
it was probably
25.
I was probably thinking of it whenever I was thinking that all.
Yeah, the
My chart,
Kravitz 15, Bloomcrawler 25, Wolftinger 50, Mimcat 75.
Yep, and the snatchers are 10 gold if you're just buying them. So what were you asking?
Who?
You.
Yeah.
Oh no, I was just reading what you put the price here.
I thought you. Oh wait, no, you were asking if it was a boy or a girl.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry.
He says, I mean, as I guess I understand. Out here in the West, new Mimcats are sort of guess you would call them, you know, no gender. They, it's a mimic. I mean, mimics. I imagine mimics are still a thing out here. You know, you guys have probably dealt with them. You know, I see your adventures. Maybe you've dealt with a mimic in the past. You know, they're creatures of their own, amorphous. It just happens that you know, this was a cat mimic, essentially. You know, so it doesn't have a gender per se. And he sort of like looks at the book a little bit, and it looks at the mimcat. Says, at least not that I can tell.
Is this does it already have a name, or?
I just refer to them as they are. Welcome to name them yourselves. I recommend it to sort of get to know them, you know, to form that bond with them.
And how long have you had this mimcat? Is it healthy?
Very healthy, very clever as well. Quite. He. Yeah. I've had him now. Oh, been traveling now. Past couple months. I picked him up. As I was making my way through the desert. You know, it's sort of like on the outskirts of where the reach for this sport really hits.
Okay.
I'd be
Luna.
interested. Sorry.
What's up?
We need to go. So, what all comes with this bloom crawler? You said food.
Absolutely. 2 10 days worth of food. Well, actually, and he's like back to his book. He goes, "Oh, actually, never mind. Sorry. You know what? I only got him. I only got him a few 10 days ago. I have a little bit of knowledge on him. Actually, I think he sits out in the sun, soaks it up a little bit."
So your price said it includes food, but food's free. How about 20? And your 2 orbs. Or however many orbs he was offering.
Make a persuasion check.
I almost tipped perception. Did it come through?
It's a.
I mean, your whole deal was and food, but sun's free.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. Yeah, I'll make that deal. We'll say 20 gold. 20 gold for the bloom crawler, and yeah, like I said, I'll throw in that other snatcher for your rat there.
The spider.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, hey. Yeah. I mean, hey, if somebody else is willing to make a sale.
So if I want this mimcat, it comes with, what does it come with again?
Oh, it's gonna come with the snatcher. I have a bag in the back. It's basically just a bunch of papers. This thing loves paper. Eats it. Almost ate an entire book of mine that I had on different creatures, and I pretty much had to like pull it out of its mouth.
That's all you gave him? You sure he's healthy?
Oh yeah, mimcats, they'll eat anything. You give this thing anything, it'll eat it, just like a mimic would.
I see something here. 1 second. I'm gonna try to ask him to drop the price to 60. Can I roll persuasion?
Sure.
That failed.
Oh, 60. I can't do 60. I mean, these Mimcats, like I said, these Mimcats, you know, out east, I mean, I can go up to, well, I think the next big town is the big city is Neverwinter. I mean, I'm looking to make some good up there. These are just, you know, yeah, could not do 60. I mean, that 75 is, yeah, pretty set.
All right, that's fine. It'll be in good hands. Hands him over the 75, so I'll put my gold down to 25.
Okay.
And an orb for the spider.
Yeah, as long as she gets the orb, yeah.
Yeah, and he throws an orb over to. So yeah, you get you get the Mimcat, you have a Snatcher, and you have basically you have a giant ass binder of paper. And he looks over at Smith. He says, "What about you? See your spellcaster? I mean, nice little crabbit here. You know, they have this alarming cry that they can put out. You can put them on watch at night. You know, when you guys are resting. You know, or this Wolfdinger. I mean, honestly, I think this Wolfdinger is sort of favoring you, my friend. There, in fact, I can tell you for a fact that these little guys have some magical affinity with them. That you know, if they're subjected to, like, you know, I've seen them in battle, seen them in fights. If they're subjected to any kind of like magical effects, they are much better at avoiding those effects. So I imagine with you would get along with this little guy perfectly.
How much for him again?
50 gold. Steal. A steal. If anybody finds out that you paid 50 gold for a Wolfdinger in this with this personality, they're gonna think that I was the dumbest salesman ever.
We should have done a perception check on this guy.
All right. And so with that, he hands you the Snatcher, and the you know, the Wolfdinger jumps over to you.
How much for an extra orb? I'll give you this 5 back for an extra orb.
5 back?
5 gold for an extra orb.
Oh, if you're just looking to buy a Snatcher, I mean, that's just 10 gold. He says, now I will let you know. I can see that you. I see. You mean if now? I don't know about your bird friend there, but if with those two, I will let you know. Most trainers, unless they are very skilled at sort of managing creatures like this, you know, larger groups like this, a lot of times they don't really get the same. They don't really get the same results once they start, you know, going past 3. You know, you're sort of dividing up your time. I'll gladly sell you one, but I just wanted to give you that heads up. You know, a lot of trainers, they sort of run into that issue as they're trying to deal with more than like 3 of them.
Okay, I had 3 already.
No, that's the point I'm making. You're asking him for another orb. He's just sort of giving you a heads up that, you know, most trainers don't do well once they have 4.
But she only has 2, so she wants the 3rd one. The orb for a 3rd one.
Yeah, no, that's fine. And, yeah, and that's fine. That's sort of why he was saying, like, he doesn't you know, about the bird, you know, being quizzical. I mean, I will say out of game, you cannot have another one. You have Anime, you have Piper, you have the Bloom Crawler.
Oh yeah, it's 3.
Right. So that's sort of out of game. That's what I'm saying. You have 3. So.
Okay. No, we're good then.
Okay. Well, must say I wasn't expecting to make most of my sales today, this early. But if that's the case, I think this little guy, he calls over the Crabbit, or he calls back out the Crabbit, and he says, "I think this guy and I are gonna head up to Neverwinter, see what we can do up there. If you guys decide to really invest into into this sport, let me know. Come on up to Neverwinter. I'm trying to get an arena built up there. It's gonna be great. All kinds of money prizes, just attracting people from all around the world, different kinds of creatures. Again, there's so much to do with this sport."
What is this thing he has? A crab?
Crabbit. It's a rabbit with a crow's beak and like furry wings. It's one of the pictures I put up.
Oh, poor little Crabbit was left behind.
So yeah, I'm gonna say that's actually where we're gonna call it. It was a bit of a shorter session today, mostly dialogue. But next session we will pick back up. I guess with you guys heading up to that temple.
Yeah.
Can I ask how in the world you chose these four? Because I was hoping I'd get to influence you on what was selected from.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely not. I was not giving you guys so much freedom as to select them.
Oh, I wasn't gonna select one. I was gonna be like, here's a couple I like. Maybe one of those would appear, type of
No,
thing.
yeah, I basically I sort of thought to myself like I'm looking at a little bit of variety here. I wanted one that was more of a plant. I wanted one at least like half of them to be more bestial, and I wanted either one of them to be the Mimcat, the animated glove, the animated hat, or the animated book. And I just rolled on a D4 and it was the Mimcat. But yeah, I went. It was common, uncommon, rare, very rare. So that's why the prices were also different. But over the next week, I will be getting in touch with each of you who picked one of these up, and I will be going over the character sheet and how this is going to work moving forward.
Happy with
Well,
my
I
little
was wondering
cat.
how I can swap the rat out for something like a dragon that I can meet somewhere.
So for one,
Something.
the orb, the snatcher that you received. So there's different rarities of snatchers that allow you to catch different CR creatures. This is just a common one. So you can catch a creature that is of a challenge rating half or lower. In order to catch ones that are, stuff like that. Now there are draconic creatures, but again, that might require you guys to travel very far to find them, or go up to the city and try and get involved with this companion trade. Basically, there might be opportunities for you guys to get more minor things like bats, coconut crabs, and lobsters, as I mentioned before. But for right now, what you got is what you got.
So I wouldn't have convinced you to put a dragon in our
Absolutely, absolutely not.
This size dragon, it's just real small.
No, believe me, I looked through all of them, and I was even half tempted to throw the thing that basically is the from Zelda, whatever that little hey, listen.
The fairy?
Yeah, can't think of fucking thing's name.
Oh god, what is her name?
Yeah, I can't. No, I don't know. Yeah, there
Navi?
is Navi. That's it. Yeah, it's in here. It's called a Flitterbell. There was actually also another one that I sort of and believe me, I was sitting down oh, if Zash is into this, what might he go for? If Nylar's into this, what might he go? And Smith and all this, and I found one that I thought would be great for Albina, called a Burnling,
Oh,
But yeah, definitely, you know,
You put a spawn of Tiamat in there, and it might shake Zash's ideals on owning creatures.
yeah. There's one called the Equiterrists, which is just a little Tarask, which I find hilarious.
It's like a little T-Rex.
Yeah. Yeah. This is pretty much like. This one is pretty much like the only dragon that I would have even considered adding, which was a Druck.
okay, that was my second choice on dragon.
Oh, he looks
Yeah, that was
cool.
really the only.
Where are you pulling these from?
So go into the pinned comments in Discord. Under
did I like totally miss it?
Under Phandalin 5, go to the pinned messages and look for talents, the drop box. In that folder, it's called Stibble's Codex of Companion.
Oh yeah, I totally. Did you say this? Did you point this out? Did I totally miss this?
Yeah, this is like what I mentioned earlier in the session. So, but yeah.
Yeah, I totally missed this. My bad.
Yeah, like I said, I'll be reaching out to you guys, letting you know. I'm gonna actually make the characters in D&D. You can have them in your character sheet, and we will go on from there. But I'm gonna jump over into my other session. I will see you guys next week.
See ya.
All right.
Bye, guys.
See ya.
Have a good night.